Hi, I'm Suzanne Abramson, aka C, and I'm a photographer and the feature artist of LPR.
So, how has the pandemic affected the creation of your art?
The immediate impact for myself was all of the nightlife and parties and things of that nature that I used to shoot are all gone. They just don't exist anymore, and who knows when they're gonna come back in a real kind of safe way. So just right off the bat, not only income, but part of what I really love to do is just it's not doable anymore. So then, okay, what do you do? I can't go out and shoot these parties because they don't exist. So I figured to myself, the basic needs are being met in terms of food and shelter and safety and consistency. And how do I move forward? What do I do? Because you got to do something, right? All of my actual regular work on top of that is gone as well in terms of production. So it's a perfect opportunity to catch up on artwork and get all those things done. So I was going to update my website and, do all the things, and it just was not happening. I was just very stuck and not really understanding how and why and what I was going to do with all of this time that I'm usually so desperate for to have to create. Once lockdown really started, which was like for us the middle of March of last year, like once we kind of like sat with that for a few weeks and got over the initial craziness of pandemic fever and getting a little doomsday prepping on, all that kind of stuff, I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do now? And I don't think that I ever have lack of ideas of things to do, but the thing that was sticking with me is like, what is feasible? What is feasible right now for me? And like I said, so all my nightlife parties, that's all gone. So I can't shoot that. I can't have anybody over to shoot because we're in the middle of a pandemic. I don't know how people are. My, apartment is very small, and, it's just not worth the risk of having somebody come over here and shoot. And I'm not going to go anywhere and shoot anybody because, once again, I don't know how people are. And yeah, so I was just really, really stuck on what to do. I think the thing that at least got me out of my head so much was, the weather changing, and I was able to like go up on the roof that I have and tend to the garden and do all that good stuff that, I don't know, just like relieved a lot of like pressure. I was able to be outside and breathe fresh air without a mask on and grow my own food, which I've been doing for a while, # Black Farmers. And yeah, that connection with nature, which everybody is feeling, I'm sure, to some extent in this pandemic, because what else we got to do? But I think that connection to nature and kind of getting back to that in a tangible way where I'm actually like I can touch things and feel them and watch things grow and die and have the little successes and failures, like that was the thing that kind of got me out of a position of being stuck. I still don't think that I knew exactly what I was going to do with that, but the unstuckedness came from just being out in nature and putting my hands in the soil and being around the plant life. So I'm collecting all these things, and that's definitely part of it. But then what to do with them and how to incorporate, like what am I going to shoot? And I'm going to shoot the only person that I have available to me, which is my wonderful girlfriend, the beautiful Lorelei Black. And how do I create something? How do we do something? And I think that I tend to get bogged down in process a lot, and I can overcomplicate things quite a bit. So I decided that I had to uncomplicate the process and for me, it meant removing all of the things that I really dislike doing. Most of that is when you're dealing with digital photography, the post-production. I can't stand it. And I love Polaroid. So I figured that's going to be the easiest way for me to simplify the process of shooting, to be able to be the control freak that I can be in terms of setting up a scene or setting up parameters for a scene, and then allowing something to happen within that. And when you take a Polaroid, it's just done. Like, it's a finished piece. It's done. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to, like, put a filter on it and change the angle or whatever. Like, however I set it up is how I set it up, and that's the way that it is, and it's done. And it's by design imperfect. And even though you think that, like, that would be kind of annoying that it's imperfect, the fact that it's unique and there's not another one that will exist exactly like that, for me, makes up for the fact that it's imperfect. And then there are those times where you get it and it is just, at least for, that moment, perfect, and it's magical. And I think that that's what happened in simplifying the process for me and removing the pressure of having to, not only take this picture and find this, thing or whatever, but then have to, like, slog through the process of editing and going through however many pictures I took, and then trying to decide what kind of filter to put on it and how do I want it to look. And, like, all of that stuff was just really way more than I had bandwidth for in the middle of all of this. So I think that, like, that was the best thing for me. And so I'm, like, running around collecting all these things and, deciding, like, I have this Polaroid film and I'm going to use that to shoot with. And I get my lady on board, and she's always very accommodating when it comes to these kind of things. And so one day I came home with these, like, big giant leaves that I had come home with before, and I didn't use them in time, and they curled up and transformed into these beautiful other things. But I knew that I wanted to use them as they were. And, we had a couple of them, and she was playing around, we were taking some pictures, and, stuff that was interesting and fun, but it wasn't necessarily what I wanted out of it. And as you use these plants, these leaves, these flowers, whatever, for as much care as you take, they start to break down. They're living things. And I had, like, 2 leaves left that were still green and pliable and whatever. And I gave her these 2 leaves. I'm like, here, I'm going to, like, fiddle with the camera. And she was playing around with them, and she just did this pose that it just clicked. It was literally everything that I wanted. I wanted it to be, in terms of marrying this piece of nature with this human being. And in that one moment, and I'm like, oh my God, don't move, and take the Polaroid and put it down, because, you can't look at it and shake it. It's all a fallacy. You should never do any of those things. And it's that magic moment where you have the picture. And we're so trained now by digital that I had to pick up my digital camera and capture it on digital too, just because I didn't know if I got it on the Polaroid. And when I saw it, like, oh yeah, this is it. This is what I want. This is the beginning to a series, a project, whatever it is that is resonating and is exciting and is magical. And yeah, I guess that's what started this whole new series. First of all, it's very different from any of the party stuff that I shoot, because that is crowds of people, colors and textures and crazy movement. And these new images I think there's still a lot of movement to them, but it's very singular, and it's all the same person, and very minimal, like beyond minimal. I think that the goal for me is to find those little bits of magic. I think that we're so saturated with technology and digital, and everything is so immediate, and we're missing a little bit of that magic of creation. So I want these images to be kind of magical in a way. And the direction that they're going in now, there's definitely, I hope, an otherworldly quality to it. I think that it's definitely going to be an Afrofuturistic project, in the sense that it's all going to be all black all the time and very futuristic. I don't have a desire to shoot much else than that right now. And I can see the possibility for it being all of those things, and I'm trying to leave room for it to be more than that. I think that a lot of it is dependent on not only my moods, but the state of the world, and how I tend to wake up that particular morning, how my partner tends to wake up that morning, because it's not just me. She has to also be in a mood to shoot. And as I'm learning from doing this video, it's always a very different experience being on the other side of the camera. And I think that I have to always remember to be not only gentle with myself through this whole creative process, but also to be really gentle with her, and making sure that she's okay to show up for this project. I can't just be like, it's art, and have her be like, yeah, okay, you want me to do what with what tree branch and a seed pod? Okay. So yeah, I think that I have a lot of desires for this project, but the thing that is exciting for me is that the excitement hasn't died from it. I think that, as artists, we get these ideas, and the ones that continue to resonate and continue to keep coming back at you are the ones that you pursue. And I'm definitely pursuing this. So I'm excited to see how it's going to turn out. I'm really excited that LPR chose me to be their feature artist. Thank you so much to Chelsea and the entire LPR crew over there. You guys do great work. And to Abdu Ali for just a wonderful, warm, illuminating interview. And I hope you guys enjoy the issue. I know it's going to be really, really dope. And yeah, I'm excited to see it. And I'm excited to keep working. I hope everybody stays safe out there.